here. That's, of course, injected with latex. If there were no latex in there, it would be much harder to find that. But that big blue one right there, I'm going to trim off a bit of the sternal vein so it's not in my way. That is the superior vena cava. Comes into the right atria here, goes up to that point there. That's where it ends. You can see that branch point. Underneath the heart, clean it up a little bit, you should be able to find, just going from the heart through the diaphragm, that is the inferior vena cava right there. Also big and blue inferior vena cava there. So below the heart, that's it. Inferior vena cava, stop with the veins. We're doing abdominal cavity later. But here, we'll go up and you'll follow the inferior vena cava till it branches. Right there. And you can see that's the end of the vena cava, superior vena cava. The veins are symmetrical on the right or left side. So if you happen to have one that's cruddy on one side, just look at the other side. But these first two branches, that is the left and right, it's called the brachiocephalic vein. Brachio just refers to arms, cephalic is head. The brachiocephalic vein is receiving blood from the arms and the head. And you'll clean it up a little bit. So the brachiocephalic vein ends right about here. Let's see what we've got on this guy. And I'm not going to clean these up a lot for you, but I'll get them started. Let's see, we've got one branch there. Should be a branch here. Kind of a fatty guy. Looking for what's called the subscapular. There it is. Okay. These white things you'll see running through here, I actually don't have any on your list. Those are nerves. They're actually pretty tough, so you can kind of snap them a little bit. All right, so right here, the left brachiocephalic vein goes from the tip of the forceps to the tip of the forceps, branch to branch. Then you're going to have a bunch of branches coming off here. This big one going up, it actually comes around. You can see it under the skin right there. That is the external jugular. Cats have a big external jugular. Then you will see a much smaller one. This one did not inject well. See this little teeny one right here? Coming up, you can see a little bit more of it right there. That is the internal jugular. It's much deeper or internal. So external jugular, internal jugular. Then you'll have a branch. I don't know if you can see it well here, but it's going down right here. And if you follow it, it's going to the scapula back here. That's the subscapular vein. Then you got this branch leaving the rib cage. Here's a rib right here. For about a 1/4 inch, this branch is called the subclavian. In humans, it would be coming out under the clavicle. It's only about a 1/4 inch long. Then once you leave the rib cage, again, here's a rib, so subclavian's about that long. This branch that's just kind of hanging in the armpit, it's called the axillary vein. Axillary just means armpit. And then you'll have to follow this one down a bit. It'll go from the armpit into, keep your mouths closed, into the arm. It becomes brachial when it's down on the arm. So it's kind of the same tube, just change the names as you go along. And you'll clean it up, and you don't have to go much further. Just before the elbow, this thing is going to split, if I can get to that point here. So this is a brachial. I'm down in the arm. I'm following it out. And right about at the elbow, it should branch into radial and ulnar vein. I think right about there, you can see it branching. Can you see barely that that branch right there? The cat's like this. The cat's like this. So the branch going to its thumb, this one is the radial branch. The one kind of going out around the elbow to the pinky is the ulnar branch. And that's all you need with the veins. It'll do exactly the same thing on the right side as it does on the left. Now, the arteries. They'll be a little tougher. Sorry, allergic to cats. Not really.
I'm allergic to formaldehyde, so.
Yeah, the formaldehyde's worse. All right, so that's the veins up in the chest, head. Now the arteries can be a little tougher. That lung gets in my way. All right, let me remove some more of that parietal pericardium. All right, right here. This is a right ventricle, and if you follow it out, right here, coming out of the right ventricle, that is the pulmonary trunk right there. And it's very short, it'll split and go to the lungs, so it's not very long. But just kind of attached to the right ventricle here, pulmonary trunk. Behind it is gonna be the aorta. Easiest way to find the aorta is get that lung out of your way. Some more ribs out of the way so you can see.
I'm really sure. Here, you want me to hold it? No, actually, it's okay. One of it's overweight and I'll get splashed on.
All right. Right here, underneath this should be an aorta in here somewhere. There it is. There's a lot of connective tissue around the aorta. The pericardium is kind of anchored to it and attached to it, so you'll have some junk in your way. Let me clean it up real quick so you can see a little bit anyway. All right. Here's the aorta. Can you see it right here? Pretty big tube. It's the biggest artery you got. Comes out, it actually goes all the way down to the legs. And you'll see it comes out of the heart right here, and it just kind of arcs up and around, makes a little arch called the aortic arch. There, I'm cleaning it up a little bit. See that little curve? So it's coming out and around. There's actually a first inch coming out of a human artery, the ascending aorta. That curved part is the aortic arch, which will then go down as the descending aorta all the way down to about the legs. And then off the aortic arch, there are going to be a couple of branches. Doing precision work here, Gail. All right, there's a branch, there's a branch. Let me see if I can get something underneath them. All right, so that's the arch. See those two branches there? That's the aortic arch. Now the cat has two branches coming off the aortic arch. We have three, so the arrangement's a little different in cats and most humans. There's even some variation in humans. But this first big branch coming off the aortic arch, so that's the arch. That is the brachiocephalic trunk or brachiocephalic artery. Unlike the veins, there's only one brachiocephalic artery, while there were two brachiocephalic veins. And if I clean this up, it'll kind of look like a chicken foot here. See it? Doesn't it look like a chicken foot with three toes? So that's a brachiocephalic trunk. It just goes from here to here, then it splits, and you've got 1, 2, 3 branches. The first branch, the leftmost branch, the cat's left, of course, if you follow it up, it's going to come up the left side of the neck there. That is the left common carotid. So it starts here and goes up towards the head. The one in the middle, you follow it up. It's on the right side of the neck. Here it is right here. You can clean that up more, follow it all the way up, but that is the right common carotid. And then the third branch, all the way on the right side, it's going under the vena cava here. That is the right subclavian. We should be able to find it coming out the other side here. Can you hold that arm down? Thank you. It's right here. So it's kind of going underneath this vena cava, comes out here, and I'm holding a rib here. So up until the ribs, that is the right subclavian artery. And just like the veins, once you get out into the armpit, which is out here, because here's the ribs, right here, that little artery, that's the axillary artery. When it gets out in the arm, it'll be brachial artery. The artery does split into radial and ulnar branches, but I won't ask them. They're too small to even get a pin in. Now the other branch, put that lung out of the way. So that was a brachiocephalic trunk. It's got all those other branches or through branches attached or associated with it, right there. This one off by itself, the second branch, or leftmost branch, that is just the left subclavian off by itself. It's left subclavian till you exit the rib cage, then running right along with the vein, there it is. Now it's axillary vein, or sorry, artery, running with the axillary vein. And then when you get down on the arm, what you'll find in the appendages, you will see you've got an artery in blue, or sorry, an artery in red, the vein in blue, and a nerve that's white. Those three things run together right there. So that's brachial vein and brachial artery. We aren't worrying about the nerves in here, but that's the nerve. And that's like it above the diaphragm. Piece of cake. One down. Now get yours and start doing that. I don't have time to do them all, so I'll walk by and kind of help you, but this part's easy. Just be a little careful up here because the rib cage is kind of narrow and you don't want to cut these axillary arteries and veins as they come out. That's really all you got to watch out for. Otherwise, it's pretty easy. And then all you have to do is memorize them. And that's it.
I like your rib breaking method.
Yeah.